Hey, it's the preacher, and I feel it's time to give up my secrets. Confession time, if you will. A lot of people have messaged me and said, man, your garden looks really good. Your vegetables are really coming on, and I agree, it does look good, and a lot of that's because my wife comes out here and works in it all the time, and so if you marry right, you'll have a good garden. But on top of that, I have a secret. Something I have not shown you guys before, and I try to do this every year in some form or fashion. I add fish to my garden. Usually I catch enough crappie early in the year before I ever start planting, and I come out here and I dig a few holes, and I add the scraps off the crappie, which is the guts, the skins, and the heads, tails, backbones. I dig holes sporadically and add crappie to it. And so this year I only went fishing once or twice, and I only kept fish once. So I added those fish scraps there in that pepper bed because that was one of the latter things we planted. Well, here I had radishes and lettuce, and we've harvested all that we're going to harvest. So I've gone through with a hoe and chopped it up and raked it around and broke up that top layer. Then I went out this morning looking for shad, and if you don't know anything about shad are a little bait fish. They're real oily, they're greasy, they're not for eating, they're for bait, okay? And you know, average shad's like that. And what I wanted to do was catch a shad for every pepper plant I'm going to put in this bed. The problem is we've had so much rain, the river's out of its banks, the ditches that I usually catch shad in by throw net are under, the road's underwater, you can't even get to them. So I know another ditch nearby, so I went down to it, and I threw the throw net 3 or 4 times. The last time I threw it, well, I'll just show you the clip. Think what, to chop him up, put him in the garden. I caught a big buffalo. I say big, you know, he ain't giant, but you know, 3 or 4 or 5 pounds, probably 3 or 4 pounds. So what I've done is I've cut that buffalo up in pieces, and I took the knife, the Puma from yesterday's knife video, and the bigger blade, and I got out here and I chopped that thing up. If the fish is long ways, I started at the tail and I cut through the backbone and just like this, and I cut that in about 5 or 6 pieces, probably a piece of the head and a piece of the tail, and then four sections out of the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig 6 spots through here. I'm just drawing me a rough line in the middle of the bed, just like that. Now if I put one here, I put one here, I'm talking about 6 of these, one here, one here, one here, and I'll put the little tail right here on the end. Now I've got 6 distinct spots there that yeah, I got 6 distinct spots. Okay, now here's the plan. I'm going to plant pieces of this fish in each of these 6 holes, and then I'm not going to plant my pepper directly over it. I always plant my peppers, I stagger them like 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of go back and forth and offset them. So the peppers will not be directly on top of the fish, they'll be off to the side just slightly. And there will not be a pepper planted in here whose roots are out of reach of fish that's been buried in the ground. Now let me give you some advice here. Dig your holes deep enough so that the neighbor's cat don't come over and dig them up. Okay, I don't have a neighbor's cat. If a cat's down here, he's not the neighbor's. I'm a long ways from a neighbor. So, but plant them deep enough, if you're like me, that the coons don't come in. You might have a whole family of coons out here tonight digging your fish up. So plant them about a foot deep, and that will give them enough depth to rot and enough time for your roots to come out of your little trays. By the time your roots get down to that fish, it's really decomposing, and it's really applying some nitrogen to your plants. Let me show you what it looks like. If you don't want to see a dead fish, don't look. Little tail on the end. Okay. Basically, now you see the chunks of fish laid out, you know what we're dealing with. These are big pieces of fish. This probably weighs close to a pound. That one there, not so much, but you've got a lot of fish and fish oil and all of that nutrient down in the ground working. So, what we'll do is we'll roll that out of the way. Now, I want you to keep in mind here, this is a big chunk of fish. If this were a shad, you wouldn't go as deep, but that thing's probably 4 inches thick. So you want to put that down in there, and I pack it in there with a shovel. Now I'm putting a foot of dirt over it. Now, as long as I don't plant a pepper right in the middle or a ground cherry right in the middle, I don't have any worries about that meat damaging the vegetable or being too hot or too rich or any of that. Folks, this is about as American a way as you can plant a garden. I don't know if they still teach this in school, but I still remember in grade school learning that the Indians taught the Pilgrims how to plant corn by digging a hole, putting a fish in the bottom, and then a piece of corn on top. So if you don't like what I'm doing, this is part of your American history. This is the way your forefathers did it, or the people that founded this country, and I wish we had a few more like that. I'll bring you back when I get it finished. And you don't have to use buffalo. Shad's better. Fish scraps are better. You don't have to kill a fish. You can have somebody else kill it for you, and you can go buy fish emulsion made in a factory. I'm just telling you, if you live in a country, especially along a river somewhere, go get you some fish and put in your garden, even if you don't fish. There's no telling how many blue catfish have been buried right here in this bed. No telling how many crappie have been buried right there. But as far as a fertilizer goes, the oilier the fish, the better. Crappie are not as oily. They're real white meat, but you get something red meated, greasy old shad, man, they really make great fertilizer. So let me do the part that's beneficial to me. I've showed you my secret. It's fish scraps, or even cut up rough fish like a buffalo or a carp. Anything like that is fine. I really think that's what makes my garden in the summer when those roots are down and they've been watered in. I think they start hitting that layer of rotten fish, and I think that's what, for me, I think that's what makes the garden work. All right, now here's why I want to do this, because if I video it, I can remember what I planted where. So let's have a look. Starting right up here at the top, there's like, that seed's been out here in the sun for I don't know how long. It just popped through with the last rain, so I stuck it there. But basically I got 1, 2, 3. These are called Hungarian cheese mix peppers, and so those are going to be the first 3 in this bed. Then in a triangle the other direction, this way, are bell peppers. And so these are a mild on the end, mild in the middle, little bit spicier but not much. These are Joe E something. Numex Joe E. Carter or something like that. I don't know. They're basically a poblano of some kind. Anyways, are these two right here. They're a little bit spicier than a bell. And then on the other side of them is right here and right here on the very end, next to the broccoli and the cucumber, are red cayenne peppers. Now let me say something about the progression here. We start out mild, a little bit spicier, spicy on the end. People always worry about their peppers getting cross-pollinated. If you keep the hot ones on the end, the mild ones together, it ain't gonna really hurt much. You may not have a purebred pepper, but so be it. Okay, over there, which I originally intended that to be all peppers, but I'm planting ground cherries or Cape gooseberries or Aunt Molly's. I can't remember what. I've never planted them. Anyways, they were small. They weren't doing real good in the little flat, and maybe I should have fertilized them. But anyways, I've got 1, 2, 3, and I put them over there thinking they'd have more room to spread out and grow. And I don't know what to expect from them. Anyways, the rest of the garden is looking great. I mean, everything's blooming. I got a few little zucchinis going over there. Even a little squash and some little cucumbers. So thanks for watching. There's my garden secret. Put fish in there. Do it this fall when the garden's done. Do it in the spring before you plant. Get that fish down about 8 to 10 inches. If it's a big piece like this, put it down 12 inches. Get that in there, let that break down. Fish just makes a great fertilizer. The Indians knew what they were doing. When they said put fish down, they'd put corn on top of it. So we put fish down and put peppers on top of it. So maybe our peppers, my wife's worried they're going to taste like fish. But she didn't like me saying that. Oh well, that's the part about being the host. You get to say what you want. Thank you guys for watching. Try my secret. It does work. And I'll see you next time. Maybe we'll go fishing. I've about got this garden thing wrapped up. Maybe we'll go fishing next, if the river goes down. That's the thing. I mean, we're about flood level. May go bow fishing. We could have went bow fishing today. But anyways, I got to finish this up. And maybe next time you see me, we'll be fishing on the river.